let's glamour the works, right? But
we
today,
are the girls we think we are.
We are the girls we think we are, most definitely.
But also that you look at your life, you look at your journey,
Yes.
you look at your day. It could be you look at your hour and you think, I haven't done anything. You know, what have I done? Like, I've only done like 2, 3, 4 things out of the 10 things that I wanted to
Exercise,
do.
yeah.
Hence Misfit.
Yeah, I go to Misfit and we do a lot of boxing, like literally. Guys, look at my guns.
Look at that.
Look at my guns.
That are in pageants now, because we know how hard it is. This thing is hard. I mean, people think you just look pretty and you walk on stage.
It's like a 9 to 5, guys. It's like a 9 to 5.
You have a 9 to 5, and you used to say after 9 to 5, the pageant is your 5 to 9.
Yeah, the 5 to 9.
Sometimes you don't even sleep. You know what I mean?
True.
So that's why it's so important for those ladies, for you queens, to have, you know, this space where you can always go in and see that these people actually know exactly how I'm feeling. Yeah. They know exactly where I'm at.
So now if I come to you and say, I'm not feeling well. You know, there's always a worry, co-officing, will I be known as that girl who's not always feeling well? So I'll keep it to myself. In the meantime, it's causing harm to me, right? Instead of communicating. So as humans, we must also be aware that Dear Queen, yes you, we're talking to you, with you, and about you.
I'm Deliwe.
And I'm Katleho, and welcome to Dear Queen.
Welcome to Dear Queen.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
It really has. It's been a while. But
has.
we are grateful to be here, to be back on your screen. Myself and Deliwe doing the most. And we just want to ask you, how are you? So when you watch this, you'll ask yourself, but really, how are you? How are you?
And you'll see, like, even with us today, the whole point of today is to check in, right? It's been so long. You can even call it I don't want to call it what it's not. So let me not. I was going to say a life update.
Yeah.
But a life update is something different.
Hey,
like
we get into details.
I bought a house, I bought this.
Yeah.
So this is not about that. It's really about you. Like, how are you really right now? How are you feeling? And yeah, man, like, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So our topic today basically revolves around where you are in life.
Yeah.
As you know, we are focusing on pageantry. So where are we in pageantry at this point in time, right? A lot has happened. We are almost at the finale stages. For some pageants, the finale has already happened. So today we are talking about mental health, mental awareness, you know, and that encompasses a lot of things, a lot of things. But before we get into that, I think we were very mindful about how we're going to dress. You know us, let's glamour the works, right? But
we
today,
are the girls we think we are.
We are the girls we think we are, most definitely. But today we thought, come as you are, like come chilled, come in the element that when everything feels like it's closing in on you, what is the one thing that you go to that can help you get out of that, right? For me, gymming. So I am part of a Misfit, and it's an all-female gym, and we do boxing, and that's for me the one thing that helps me. Another thing that I know really works for us, and we do it a lot, sometimes we forget, is praying. But we said, let's wear the clothes that represent that which we go to when things feel like it's a lot.
Yeah. And it's the same with me. I mean, you guys know this. I'm a yoga instructor. I think I'm actually just like a movement person. Like I don't even want to call myself a yoga instructor anymore, because the things that I do when I'm in that mat, I'm not really sure if it's just yoga. You know what I mean? So I do everything that I need to do for my body to feel right. Like yoga is one of the things, Pilates is one of the things. So that's why I think while we're here, like we decided that we're going to go to those, right?
Yes.
So this is actually an outfit that I got from Perfect Fit.
Woohoo.
And yeah, they're amazing. I love the fit. I just love that they're so cute and very nice.
Look at her.
I mean, I really love the two pieces, like the gym wear. It's really cool. And yeah, I decided I'm gonna wear this. I wore it just some time ago when I was doing yoga with just a few, I've done yoga with so many people.
She's even forgotten.
So, I did like a yoga and painting session in Pretoria, which
Nice.
when was it last year? Hey,
No,
it
it was this year.
It
It was
in
this
March.
year. Hey, a lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
But it was this year.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why we just decided. I decided I'm gonna wear this, and I'm just gonna show up in the the person that I want to check. Like when I check in on myself, I always go into. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is us today. And I mean, you mentioned prayer.
Yeah. Which
prayer
is important to us.
Oh my gosh.
Individually and also
Together.
as dear Queen.
Yes.
We feel and we know we must be in sync. And in order for us to be in sync, the one who keeps us in sync is God. I mean, we made a conscious decision that before we shoot, we will always invite God. So even though we have the research, the notes, but we will ask for Him to come through and speak through us to speak to you, because sometimes as much as we think it's our notes, it would be God wanting to get in touch with each and every one of us, including ourselves, so it's very important. We try and fast. This year has been a bit dicey, but we are working on it.
This year it's been something else. I mean, we did our pageants last year, and this also I think answers the question, how are you?
Yes.
We did our pageants last year. We concluded that we made the conscious decision that we will check in with the women that are in pageants now because we know how hard it is. This thing is hard. I mean, people think you just look pretty and you walk on stage.
It's like a 9 to 5, guys. It's like a 9 to 5.
You have a 9 to 5, and you used to say after 9 to 5, the pageant is your 5 to 9.
Yeah, the 5 to 9.
Sometimes you don't even sleep. You know what I mean?
True.
So that's why it's so important for those ladies, for you queens, to have, this space where you can always go in and see that these people actually know exactly how I'm feeling. Yeah. They know exactly where I'm at, and they're able to help me, to give me the tools. They themselves did this last year.
True.
So that's why we're here. Yeah. And our year this year has been that.
Yes.
But also I think we've had a lot of challenges as well.
Yes, we have. We have had a lot of challenges, and I think, with Delue speaking, I just thought of something that the one thing that always gives us comfort in us starting Dear Queen is the fact that we always hear from ladies that are in pageantry saying, man, I watched a certain video and it really helped me.
Yes.
So we are here for you, like we say with you, about you, Yes.
The feedback helps a lot.
It does. So if there's anything you'd like to share with us, please do. We are
Give
on
us the feedback.
Please, guys.
We would love that.
Comment. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about, and all of that jazz that comes with Dear Queen. Right?
Yay.
So our topic for today, like we said, given where we are in pageantry right now, and also just in life, it's almost at the end of the year. Targets have to be met. Budgets have to be kept. Stresses, anxieties are running high. And our topic today is mental health. So, us, always, we come correct. We look up the definitions, we give you what it is, and then we get into the meat of the topic. So we're going to break down the definition in 3 steps. So first I looked up what is the definition of mental. Yes. Yeah. And the definition says it relates to the mind. So up here, you know how they always say, if you work on your thoughts, then work on your mind, then you get everything right.
Yeah.
And then we look at what is the definition of health. So health says it is the state of being free of any illness and injury. And then you combine that together and we get to mental health, right? So mental health, it reads, it includes our emotional, psychological, social well-being. It affects how you think, how you feel, and how you act. So that is literally how you feel would be an emotional thing. How you think, it's here. How you act, it's your body, the movement. So when you think mental health, it's not just in the head.
Yeah.
It literally is a whole being kind of effect, you know. So you need to be aware of that if your body is not working, work on your head because it's holistic. If your mind is not working, work on the emotions and the body and it will help. If your emotions are not working, work on the body, work on the mind, and then they'll all come together. So it's not just a single-minded thing. Right? It's holistic.
Yes, I love that. Because when I think about just leading myself to the yoga mat, when I first led myself to the yoga mat, it was a dire situation. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I think right now, I mean, I think about just going to the yoga mat. Obviously now I know what yoga does for me. I know what exercising, let me say that, what exercising does for me, right? So when I go to my mat, I go with the intention of, I just want to be okay. It's been stressful. It's been this. My body is not, like, my body is feeling the thing that my mind is thinking, which is what my emotions are. So they're all talking to each other. I don't really want that to feel the thing that my mind has been thinking this whole time, because I've been getting so much pressure, maybe from work, all of those things, which I cannot be carrying around with me all the time. So to separate the things, I just lead myself to the mat. And when I do that, it's with the intention of tapping into the mind too. Right? So I will be physically doing the things with my body, exercising my body, and that will assist even for me to feel happy. You know, I mean, if you're doing like anything with maybe like jumping jacks, when you jump, you release hormones of joy. You know, you've never, actually, come to think of it, I've never seen a child that is jumping and crying. They could be walking and crying.
Unless they're throwing a tantrum.
Unless they are. But like jumping, they're usually very happy when they do. And that's just exactly how it is even with us, right? So like you exercise and it taps into your emotions, it taps into your mind. And that's why I'm just such a big fan. We're both big fans of exercising. Hence Misfit.
I go to Misfit and we do a lot of boxing, like literally. Guys, look at my guns.
Look at that.
Look at my guns. And we do a lot of boxing, and it requires a lot of discipline. And in order for you to be disciplined, the mind has to be sharp, because there's all these jabs straight, the hooks, and for me, that, you know, I'll come back from work and I'll be so irritated, so stressed, or something would have happened, not necessarily work, but something would have happened. And when I get there and start punching, and literally, like Delue said, it releases so many hormones that will put me in a good state, in a good mind, you know. So
do you ever put like the face of the person that upset you at work?
No, by the time I get there, it's my happy space. I don't have to be bringing all those other many things that are unnecessary. I've seen that before
in movies. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try boxing. And I was like, nope, I'm
gonna try boxing. What is already movie? But so like we said, in the pageant space right now, it's the top 30 finales have happened. And I think the essence of today's topic is to check yourself where you are mentally, physically, and emotionally, because now it's the final stages, right? There are more deliverables that you need to do. You know, if they asked you to raise 15,000 in the first round, here we're asking you to raise 90,000. And that may be daunting. It may be stressful. It may be daunting. And it might just take away from this wonderful experience, because the whole idea of being part of a beauty pageant is so that you can enjoy it, discover yourself, you know.
It's so for you. The one thing that is actually for you
100%.
And not for your kids. And I mean, obviously, everything you do will impact them positively.
Yes, from a third party base. But like you said,
this is really for you.
100%. It is
to be fun.
Yes. So you don't want to, at the end of this run, to be feeling so miserable, like, oh, I didn't enjoy it. I couldn't meet And
I couldn't breathe.
Yes, and if you are not self-aware and regulating yourself, that's what leads to you feeling that way, because if you were aware that I'm not meeting the 90,000, right? Why am I not meeting it? What other avenues can I look into that can help me meet the 90,000? Am I communicating? Because in beauty pageants, you have those, they're not called mentors, they're called administrators that you can communicate with to say, I'm stuck. And then the discussion can be had that, you know what, in our pageant, we had a lady called Basani. So Basani would do a check-in on us, and I think the one thing that she said with me when we did the check-in, she said, Katleo, you don't post a lot, like how mo poster. And I remember I had this conversation. I don't remember who I had this conversation with, but I thought, okay, I need to post.
You did have a conversation with me.
Oh, I had a conversation
with
that. But I can post enough. And the question that I had to ask myself is posting a lot something that is in me, right?
And I'm so glad that you're bringing this up, because this is something that you actually, like when we spoke about it, we were like, okay, now you're going to start posting a lot of what, right?
Yes.
If you have to post sponsors, I think that's fair. But also if you want to post your why, and that's what I think you were mostly into, posting the things that are like related to why you're even doing this, right? You posting you yourself at the mall or whatever, like that's really not you. So you don't have to do that, And I'm glad that you were able to be self-aware in that and just bring that forth away.
It's not me. It's not me. And I don't regret it. If maybe it was something that was used to say she's not a poster, wrong, it's okay. But it's not me. It was essential for me to be self-aware and to stay true to myself. Because then imagine had I all of a sudden started posting, and then once the competition is over, I stop posting. It would be like we move from 0 to 0 to 0 to -0, So in this topic, we want you to be self-aware. And you know that word that we stole from someone, which we've made our self-gov.
Self-gov.
Yes. Be very aware of self and what are the things that you can do. And those that you can't do, communicate them. It's the same as in a job. Your boss will ask you, we've got a deadline, we need to, do the balance sheet. I'm in finance, do the balance sheet, income statement, management account. There are certain things that I might be able to do. Those that I can't do, it's important that I communicate because also by not communicating, you are communicating that everything is okay.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know how they always say non-communication in itself is communication.
It is.
Because you're saying to people, I got this under control. So if you don't say, I'm managing 1, 2, 3, I don't think I'm going to make it. Can I get help? And the administrators that are there, they won't hand you the 90,000, but then they will sit with you and say, let's strategize. What can we do? What avenues have you not looked into that could work for you?
Yeah. I'm so grateful for Mrs. South Africa, really. Like just thinking about this, there's so much support that I got, from them. And I say this because in my second round of the pageant, well, first round was great. Semifinals, listen, I was the girl.
So
I had a sponsor that paid everything. I had YFM come through and buy tickets. It was just great. And I didn't have that many deliverables to scare people away. There's also that, right?
Yes.
So I feel like it was great. And then the second round, which was now the finale, not only was there too much pressure at work, which there is now even, I know that it's always going to be the same, the case that in the second half of the year, we're going through a lot of stress. Everybody wants to reach those targets and, close the year on a high and whatnot. So there's a lot of pressure that comes from everywhere, And therefore, there's that. Also, remember that was my 9 to 5. Then I have a 5 to 9, which also has deliverables that have multiplied by 2 million.
A lot.
Now I need to raise I don't know what, this for the charity, and then that for the sponsorship, and then this, and then I have to sell double, triple, maybe by 4 the number of tickets that I had to sell in the previous round, which it was all very stressful. It was high pressure. So I was getting pressure this side and that side. And if you have kids, I think also, the concerts and the whatnot, even as a mom, there's just a lot happening in the second half of the year that isn't really in the first half. So you are going through a lot already. And that was me. So now, when I got to the second round, I needed a lot of support. And I'm also not the best communicator when I'm not doing well. Like,
I think that applies to everyone, because you go through this shutdown, going into a hole, thinking you got it, you can do it together.
And also, I mean, for me, it was just like sometimes, and I see it with just the people that I've worked with as well, that sometimes you go into the thing that I can't. To tell you is just wasting my time. Let me just go and work. Actually, to sit down with you and tell you what's going on, that alone is wasting time that I should be using, especially when your problem is capacity as well, right? So I'm like, I'm going to spend 30 minutes telling you what's wrong when I could spend that 30 minutes doing that one task out of the 2 million things I have to do. So there's also that as well, which I felt it was necessary for me to continue with this, to speak to the people that were given to me from Mrs. South Africa point of view. They gave us a wellness person. Her name was Candace. Her name is Candace. She's still doing that, I'm sure, right now. Then they also we also had a Marlene. So Marlene is the COO, Chief Operating Officer at Mrs. SA. And she is really somebody that's been there with us from the beginning. So what I loved about her is that she knew me from the beginning. She pays attention to people. So from the beginning, she knows who you are. Okay. Just like Basani for you guys, right? Yes. And then Candice came in just in July once you've made it to the top 30. So Candice is very important because she's actually just here for your mental health, nothing else. Like she wants to know, how are you feeling? All those things. Whereas Marlene is helping you even with the things like, your targets. Like, let's talk about that. So obviously those conversations, you kind of have the same conversations in some way or the other. And you have these times scheduled with each of them. So I had an hour per week or something, per 2 weeks with Candice, and it helped me to just tell her where I was. So the lack of sponsorships, the whatnot, those things were making me not okay. Yeah. I was actually like, at some point I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this, to be honest. Like, do I even want to? I mean, I've made it to top 30. Okay, fine. Like, I can go home.
What's your way to make it to top 30?
Like, I can go home now. But I needed to just finish. And for me, it was important. And she actually, she pulled that out of me. Like a psychologist would. They don't tell you, they just make you.
They guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. Eventually, you say it yourself. So it's important to have those people. And even in your workspace and your life, it's important to have people like that will speak to you and check in with you. And you're able to just tell them where you are, allow them to help you, and take that 30 minutes, take that hour.
Please do. One thing that you said, which I think is so important, when you said Candace allowed you to find the fight in the leeway. Because when you're feeling the pressure, what do? I've made it to top 30. It's okay. That was never your why.
It was never your why.
That was never your why. And once you give up there and then the competition ends, there'll always be that room of regret. But when I came in, my why was to be my why for every one of us is to get the crown. But then there's the real why. I want to use this platform to raise money. I want to use this platform to be a yoga instructor. I want to use this platform to be a social media person. Whatever the why is. So now I've made it to top 30. I'm feeling the pressure. I'm just going to settle for, I made it to top 30.
I made it to that, guys. I'm done.
So
and that's not okay.
It's not. And it also means that you are not really self-aware, because if you are self-aware, you'll say,
you will know that I need to finish.
Yes, I need to find the necessary tools to help me find my fight. Yes. Right? So that I can push on and I can enjoy this process that I've decided to enter for myself.
Exactly.
Nobody else but for yourself.
For me, yeah. And I remember, one of the things that made me keep going was also the fact that I don't want Nandi, Nandi was 2.5 or something, turning 3 that year. I don't want her to, when she's like 16 and, she knows now, like, mommy, oh my gosh, she did Mrs. South Africa. To know that I actually quit somewhere, like I dropped out. Because also, remember, there are other people that would have wanted that top 30 spot that didn't, or that finalist spot that didn't. And now you have, you're just like going to give up. It's not fair, actually. It's not fair on the pageant, on the organization. It's not fair on you. It's also not fair on the people that didn't make it to where you are now. So it was one of those things that had to just you had to just keep going for yourself. And that's what it is. You have to keep going, have to check in with yourself, be honest with where you are. And I mean, I love the thing where you said communicate where you are.
It is very, very important. Communicate where you are at all times. And I think we also need to be aware that communication is not a weakness. With where we are in life now, right? Whether it's beauty pageant space, it's workspace, we always stigmatize certain things that are supposed to help us as human beings. So now if I come to you and say, I'm not feeling well, there's always a worry, ko-officing, will I be known as that girl who's not always feeling well? So I'll keep it to myself. In the meantime, it's causing harm to me, right? Instead of communicating. So as humans, we must also be aware that we need to get out of the stigmatizing of things that are important. Mental health is an issue. Let us not stigmatize it so people can communicate about it. But I think it also boils down to you as a person, that how confident are you in yourself and who you are to say that I can say to Deliwe, I'm not a poster. I don't want to post. I'm not going to let one thing put pressure on me to post when I'm not that person. Let me be confident in the things that even if I woke up at 3 o'clock and they said, run, I would run because that's me. And like if they woke me up at 3 and said, come, let's post, I'll be like, oh, what am I doing? So I think the one thing that we have spoken about and know that in coming out about any illness or condition, there is always the element of batho batlaring, or will stigmatize it, If you are telling the other contestants that, guys, I see Candace every week because she helps me regulate myself. Are you worried that the other contestants will be like, imagine if she wins, she's got a problem.
I guess also being honest to those types of people, like your bosses, like your colleagues, your maybe even, I don't know if clients have to know, but whoever needs to know, right? Like your Candace, like your Marlene. So to tell people like that, to say, actually, I've got anxiety issues. I have, mental health issues where sometimes I just, go into a panic, or whatever it may be for you. I think the important thing is that you should always feel safe around, or you should talk to people that you feel safe around, because they're not always going to judge you. You see, that's the thing. Like, and that's what we think. The reason why we think we shouldn't speak to those people, we're thinking, oh, I won't get the crown. Yeah. Bayong put the crown because Bayong Tilo, she's going to be panicking on stage, panic attack, anxiety. No. So even at work, you don't want them to think that you're making excuses, because there's also that where you feel like they're going to think that you're making excuses, and maybe they may think that, maybe they will not, but it's always good to be honest with yourself, because you're confident in that I'm not making this up.
Yes.
Excuse me.
It's okay. Yes.
I'm not making this up. I'm being for real. And I do feel this way. I need help. Then they can assist you.
Yes. Like what just happened now. Can we acknowledge that moment? Deliwe burped. But as the queen that she is, she could have just said, but she was honest. I'm going to burp and then I'm going to say, excuse me. Yes. And then the show goes on. Yes. It's a moment. It happens. And that's what it is. It happens for a time frame, right? It happens for a time frame.
Yeah.
You get the help, you know, and then you move on from it.
Yes.
But also in the same breath, I think we must also be aware that sometimes it might just not be a phase thing. It might just not be a phase thing where we're thinking, you'll bounce from it. It might really be
like a thing.
Yes, it might be depression or it might be stress. And that's where you consult. You know, you'd go to a doctor, you'd get examined so that they can fully, because they are specializing in that, they can then diagnose you, you know, to say that you have depression or you have whatever ailment you might have at that point in time.
And they can also give you, you know, sometimes there are medication that you can take. Obviously, over-the-counter things are not ideal.
Yes.
Especially when you are self-medicating, you're like, I think I've got anxiety. I'm just going to go get anxiety meds or Calmeds, whatever. I would rather you go to the doctor, to a health professional, healthcare professional, and that person will then guide you to say, actually take these, and this is how much you can take them, right? So that's that. Like that's why we have these over here. Maybe Kendra can take us through them because they're actually all hers.
Oh wow, I love how she says that they no, it's literally
like,
just
I can't speak to any of them because I
vitamins.
don't really know what.
Like I've got vitamin zinc and then I've got Calmette. So those I take, I think, once in a while where I feel anxiety. But I know personally for me that there are moments in time where I'd feel anxious. And it's not a prolonged thing where I'll be like anxious for 3 months, 5 months. It will be just a day because maybe there's a deadline I need to meet. And from looking at it, you know, trying to put the maths together, it might not feel like I might meet it. But I've come to the realization that sometimes we create our own anxiety because you would have done something, you work your mind so much that you think it's a big thing when it's not. So hence we said communication. I think that's the one thing that I have learned, that when I communicate my steps and also just write them down, that I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'm not far from 7. So had I just sat and stressed myself to that point of not even getting to 7 because I think there is this elephant. But if I just eat it at, what is it?
Bite at a time.
Yes, bite at a time. Yes, bite size. Then I get to it, you know.
And I mean, I love that. It's like, you know, sometimes what causes us to be mentally stressed, to have anxiety, to be depressed is also that you look at your life, you look at your journey, you look at your day. It could be you look at your hour and you think, I haven't done anything. You know, what have I done? Like, I've only done like 2, 3, 4 things out of the 10 things that I wanted to do. But actually, and we actually touched on this when we did our Women's Day video. On Women's Day, on the 9th of August. It's on Instagram, so go check it out. We touched on it where we ourselves could be feeling that because we are actually, we didn't reach the targets that we wanted. We had targets that we didn't reach. And you may also be feeling that way. That is why it's important to communicate. Because then when you talk to me, when you write it down, because writing is also communicating, right, to yourself somehow. You write it down and you look and you're like, actually, I've done very well. Like, I didn't raise 90,000, but I raised 10,000. That is very good. And by the way, we're not saying that you need to raise 90K at Mrs. SA, guys. Please do not take
it was just an example.
We're just saying, you know, like if you could only do a quarter of what is required, and because you really did everything, then you really did everything. That's why, guys, if you are doing Mrs. SA and you are in this position where you actually have a deadline that you're looking at, you thinking, okay, I can't meet that. There's no way. You need to record what you have done, the things that you have done, record them and say, I tried, I spoke to this one and I spoke to that one, I went and I knocked and I did this and I did that. Actually, I couldn't get, like, they all either turned me down or said no, or this one promised, and all of that. Write it all down, document it, because it shows your efforts. And when you have your check-ins with those people that, you know, the organization representatives, you tell them, they will understand that they may actually even let you go on the lifestyle challenge or lifestyle weekend without having had paid any sponsor, which was me, by the way. I had no sponsor by the time it was lifestyle challenge time. I went all the way to Durban, stayed at a hotel, all of that stuff without having paid anything. That's because I had told them, we communicated, and they knew that I wasn't just
the efforts that you were putting in.
Exactly. And actually, because they had so much faith in me, in the very last day, sponsor came through. Last day.
God made it happen.
It was just like
God
a miracle.
Made it happen. Yeah.
So anything is possible. Just keep the hope, keep the faith, but also communicate and understand that sometimes what you have done is actually enough.
It's enough. It's enough. You know, it's like when Deliwe said, when we did our Women's Day, I also just remembered in that moment that we had to acknowledge where we were as Dear Queen. And Dear Queen is made up of myself and Deliwe. And we had to be honest with ourselves that, okay, life is happening. There are moving particles that we didn't anticipate. And we are here, you know. And
we know better.
Yes. And that comes to the being self-aware and being honest with where you are and communicating where you are with your dear queen or whoever it is that you need to talk to. Yeah. I think another element that we want to speak to, you know, with regards to this topic of mental health is the times that we're living in, we are afforded with so much vocabulary, right? Anything nowadays, you can put a word to it, whether it be narcissist, whether it be gaslighting. We have more vocabulary now than we did then. Yeah. And it is very important for us to be cautious of when and where we use those words. Because what happens is, if they are used so loosely, even in the day where it's important, you know, like if you're always saying, oh, my mental health is not well, but it's not warranted by the fact that it truly is. The day that it is really happening, nobody will take you. It's like the boy that cries wolf. You know, like we need to be conscious of these words and the vocabulary that we have been afforded and to use it in
correctly.
Yes, you know.
Not to harm. Because, you know, sometimes we think you're just using a word like that for protection. Like I could just say, guys, mental health, I'm just going to take a day off. Like, I'm sorry, like my mental health, what. But actually, you need to always just be mindful, you know, be mindful of the fact that you may actually be taking, you think you're doing it for yourself in that moment, but you may be taking away an opportunity for someone else who actually is going through something to be afforded such a day. Because now there's people like yourself who say that they are going through things and they're going to take days off, and there actually isn't really a need for that. You know, perhaps what you need is to take your lunch, to take an hour.
Take a tea break.
Like honestly, like, or even go make tea, right? Which I do, by the way, like religiously. Like it's a thing now. I'm going to take my lunch. I even have it blocked in my diary.
To take lunch.
A meeting. Oh, sorry, I have a, you know, prior, what is it? Like
to
what
get
is
up
it?
from
I
your
have
table.
A block in that hour, so we can't have the meeting then, but we can have it later in the next hour. I don't have to tell you that that's my lunch, because if I'm coming to this thing hungry, you're going to be very disappointed. So let's not do that, right? So it's sometimes it might mean that. So it's good to just be honest with yourself as well, with the others.
Of where you are and how you are feeling.
Yeah.
Also, I think let's read, you know, let's read, let's educate ourselves. Let's make sure that we have the full information on any topic. You know, I'm not saying be a fundi of everything and anything, but make sure that we are well knowledgeable. I think we said this in our interview round, when we did interview round.
Yes.
It's like, you know.
And gov everything.
Yes, and gov everything. It's like we were so mindful about the topics and lining them for Dear Queen, because when we did June, July, we knew that it was interview round.
Yes.
And here we are in September, and we know that at this point, this is where you are. We are navigating the final stages, and we want you to be aware that at this stage, if you are having certain emotions of wanting to give up or certain mindsets of wanting to give up, it's part and parcel. Get the help that you need to get yourself out of that rut.
Yes.
And then also, I think the other thing we are very aware of it is that some competitions might have happened by now. A queen has been chosen. She might be feeling mentally not well, or
not even equipped.
Yes, because you have won. You know what the organization requires of you, but you've never been a queen. So what are the steps that you need to take in order to raise awareness of your beauty pageant, to lead in a manner that for the next queen it will be easy, That's the one side.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, there are those that didn't win. How are you feeling?
Exactly. And I think it's good to check. And I did say this. We did actually mention it in the interview conversation when we said that if you don't make it, because there's two things. There's like you can either make it or you don't, right? And when we say make it, I mean, it doesn't make you a loser if you didn't make it to the top whatever or to the top 3 or to the next round. You know what I mean? It doesn't. All it says to you is that wasn't your journey.
Yes.
Your journey is different. It's different. It is yours. Nobody else should be walking this journey but you. Nobody else should be walking the queen journey but the queen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that means already they are so equipped for it, whether they know it or they don't.
Yeah.
They are already chosen and equipped for it. And that also means that with you that didn't make it, you also are very in a place where you can actually equip yourself for the thing that is next. So this is where you get to check in with yourself and actually maybe even see a mentor.
Yeah.
And see like a therapist, anyone. Just speak to somebody and communicate how you're feeling and be honest.
And be honest, because not getting the title, like we say, there's the why and then there's the title. We all want to get it. If you don't get it, be honest that I didn't get it. I'm not hateful that Deliwe became a queen, or I'm not a bitter queen, but I'm actually sad that I didn't get it, because as human, I mean, we do this all the time. You know your strength, you know yourself. You look at the self in the mirror, like, oh, look at me. And then you suss out, yes, I'm the girl that's supposed to get the crown. And then you suss out the competition, like, I got this. And then when you don't get it, you're bummed out.
But why?
Yeah.
Actually, no, let's talk about this. Let's double click on that.
Let's rewind. Why? Yes, so be honest in saying, I didn't get the crown. Why didn't I get it? Go back and deal with the emotions. So it's not a matter of going back now, picking at what you did. Oh,
versus
I didn't,
what they did. No.
I didn't raise, or I didn't do enough charity. No. You are dealing with the emotions of, I'm feeling sad, because somewhere deep down, we all want to win the crown.
Yes.
Or
and
we all want to get the promotion.
It's okay. Like if you didn't get it, and you're sad that you didn't get it, that's okay. It doesn't make you a sore loser. What makes you a sore loser is what you do about it. If you do something negative about it, then, you are headed towards the sore loser
direction.
Exactly.
True.
Which we don't want. That's why we're here.
Yes, to say,
say, guys,
you
hello.
can feel that way.
It's not your journey. This is your journey.
Yeah.
I actually did a small little talk at work on Women's Day where I said, and I brought it with, I said, okay, cool. This is what we did, pageants. And then this is where I am now. So in a pageant, we all entered and the winner gets chosen. And like, it's not 29 of the ladies. It's one of them, right? So now the 29 ladies, how happy they are for the queen is just like, guys, I wish you could have come and seen Mrs. South Africa, the current reigning queen, Tshego Kgailai. We were so happy for her. All of us on stage, we were dancing. We were just so happy for her. You have no idea. Actually, I have goosebumps just talking about that. And I mean, that shows even at work, right?
Yeah.
You may not get that promotion, but it's not yours.
Yes.
Be happy for the girl
person,
that did or for the person that did, because it's not your journey.
It really isn't.
And it's okay.
It really isn't.
It doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't make them better than you. It doesn't mean any of that. Just be happy for them and know that this journey of yours, you're going to embrace it.
And I think when you also sit back and you watch, it always makes sense that person won, why this person got the promotion, why I didn't get the promotion. And I think you are that which you eat, you are that which you think, you are that which you allow to manifest in you. So if you are eating unhealthy food, it will result in unhealthiness. So you will be that you are eating. If you are thinking negative things, you will be that. You will be negative. I mean, a person will walk in and be like, oh, look, Kitopile this. And it might be diamond, like, diamond guy. And it might really be like, diamond kamalet. But because your mindset is not so right.
Negative.
Yes. So even in the not winning, but if you say, okay, God, I didn't win, show me what the lessons were, show me what my journey is after this, it will come to you, it will make sense. Like, and there are so many things that you discover about yourself, whether it's in a workspace or it's in pageant space, about yourself, because essentially at the end of the day, it is about you, and that which you are, then you'll pour to everybody else. And it will naturally come out. If it's, whether it's good or bad, it will come out.
It will.
Right?
It will. And I think, just to conclude, what are the things that we would love for our dear queens to take away from this? Like, if you had forgotten everything we spoke about,
which you won't,
what do we want you to remember? Right. So for one, I would say self-love. Right. Like, check in with yourself and then be aware of yourself. Like, I feel like that just self-love, yamatapa. It's just such a broad term. It's like, it's, yourself, where you are, you're honest with where you are. And honest with where you are, and that means that you are self-aware, right, in the proper English.
And then once you are self-love, right, we come with how to regulate what you now know. That's the next thing. What are the plans, the procedures that you are going to put into place to deal with what I now know, right? Which would be whether you go to the gym, you communicate, you go to the doctor, you get the medical treatment that you need, right? Right? Those are the
vitamins may be just what you need.
Right.
Zinc.
Right? So it's self-love, and then you self-regulate.
Exactly.
Right?
And then there's another layer of help. Allowing other people to help you. But also recognizing the same things to other people, because once you are self-aware, you will then be able to be aware of the others, and then you'll be able to help them, right? And reaching out to others as well in a sensitive manner, just like you would need for yourself. But for you is to ask for help where you need it.
Yes, absolutely. So those are the three things that we would like to leave you with as Dear Queen. And guys, really, this is an important topic. It goes beyond just what we have talked about. And I know, just like we said in the pageants, there were avenues which you could go to get help. Even in the workspaces, there are avenues that you could go to get the help. So find out from your managers, find out from your seniors, and get the help that you need. And finally, for the finalists, semi-finalists that are out there, guys, this is the final stretch. Give it your all and just enjoy it. Enjoy. And remember, we always say this, each journey is different, and it's your journey. It's designed for you by God with you, right? So run that journey so that it can be everything that it's meant to be. Man.
And that's that from us.
And you know what to do?
You know what to do. Please like, subscribe, and share.
Please.
Right? To all of those things.
Yeah.
And then, that will empower us and also assist us in just doing more of these, right? So this is what we love to do. And we love, love, love to leave you. And just with knowing that we love you so much.
Absolutely.
And we are here. We're walking this journey with you. Reach out to us even on our socials.
Please.
We're here. Okay?
We've got advice for days.
We've got this. We've got this.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. That's us. And bye.
Bye.